We have two discussions this week, and for your initial message, in discussion one, level two learning, we are basically asking you to design an evaluation process that verifies learning on a course, and you supposedly have been asked by your boss to do that. So one of the things you want to do is ask clarification questions about the course, as if you had the opportunity to talk to your boss. You are going to provide an overview of evaluation design methods and also an overview of your administration evaluation, data analysis, and reporting. So the steps to go through the evaluation process. How would you analyze the data and how would you report it? For discussion two, we're still on level two learning. This time we're going to ask you to focus on the level two evaluation that was described on all three cases that were provided in chapters 15, 20, and 25, and we would like for you to assess whether they collected the data that was necessary or needed. What are the strengths and weaknesses of this type of evaluation? What have you learned about level 2 evaluation? And then compare the value of level 1 and level 2 data. And you can do that based on your own institution and what you would think would be most helpful for you. Now, one piece of advice that I want to share with you, because I think you did work a little bit more than you should have in the discussion 2 last week, and I want to try to prevent that this week. In part, the other part is we need to better focus the conversation, but what I really want to do is I want to save you time in reading and writing the forums this week, and also I want to better focus the discussion on the level that we should be focusing on this week. So you have your discussion prompts for discussion 2. The first piece of it, really do for yourself. There's no need for you to share this in the discussion forum. You had great analysis that you shared, but I'm sure that end up being a lot more writing for you and then a lot more reading for your classmates, of course, and myself. But what we really want you to share is this bottom piece here. And what I'd like you to do is first focus discussion on what you learned about level 2. Don't worry about the other levels. As you know, some of these cases do cover all 4 levels or 3 levels and so on. Just focus on level 2. We're going to have plenty of time in the next coming weeks to focus on other levels. Always think about level 2 when you're reading those cases and discussing about them this week. And then also focus the discussion on what you learned about level 2, not about what you learned from the individual cases. Now, don't get me wrong, you did great analysis of what you learned from each of those individual cases, and each case has something that you can take away from. And that was a good exercise. But then many of you forgot to go a step further and think about level 1 reaction at that point and what you learned about level 1. So what I want you to do this week is not focus so much in delving deeper into every case as much as take them in general, what you learned about level 2 from reading all those individual cases. For your responses, in case of the first discussion, I want you to look at your classmates' evaluation design methods and compare that with your interpretation of the readings. Share your assessment. Did they do a good job? How well they implemented the suggestions from the literature? Or you can provide suggestions for improvement, or you can provide alternative approaches. Hey, did you consider doing this according to what Kirkpatrick says in chapter whatever? And also compare their ideas regarding that evaluation process, the data analysis and reporting with your own interpretation of the readings, and again, share assessments, provide suggestions or alternative approaches. In terms of your responses for the second discussion forum, explain your agreement or disagreement with your classmates' assessment, whether they collected data they needed. How does your classmate assessment of the strengths and weaknesses of this type of evaluation fare based on the readings? How grounded is your classmates' learning about level 2 evaluation on this week's readings? And explain your agreement or disagreement with their assessment of the value of data types 1 and 2. So what I want you to do is you always, at least in one of your responses to your classmates' Cite the readings to show that you have done the readings. You also cite the readings to show that you understood them well, because if there are misconceptions, I need to go in and help you clarify that. And if you don't cite the readings, I don't know if you're really understanding the content of this class. So as usual, make sure you cover all your bases with the requirements, the minimum number in terms of posting on time, addressing all prompts, and incorporate the readings. And if you want to go beyond that, you can analyze what you learned against your own experience and also cross-reference with other readings that you've found elsewhere. For the deadlines, your first message in each forum needs to be in by Wednesday, September the 17th. Your replies need to be in by Saturday, September the 20th, and all of them need to be in by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.